The Wrestling Mayhem Show. Since 2006, the pioneer in pro wrestling podcasting.
This show is brought to you by IndyWrestling.us and IndyWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you got to do, make it last. Wait for the perfect.
It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show, episode 931 Tuesdays. We've been talking about professionalized wrestling. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We're back to our regular time. That's right. We had Title Tuesday or whatever the hell last week that was going on with NXT and AEW. I'll watch NXT later. Don't worry about it. I think we're back to normal here. Let us know in the chat room what's going on out there, of course. Actually, I see them already talking about some talent that they wish didn't come back in the Facebook chat. So there's that. But we do have with us, first of all, my trusty wrestle buddy, the Rizz.
He's still wearing the hat.
He is still wearing the hat.
He's still wearing the hat.
Is he still
He's
in timeout?
He's still in timeout.
He's still in timeout.
Fuck that guy.
What I need to fix, your thing still has a Windows thing on it, so I need to fix that. There you go. That'll go away.
Window.
There you go. There you go. Rizz,
but yeah, he's in timeout.
You're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. He's on the other side.
Okay. I know.
What are you doing?
We're not mentioning him.
No, we're not. This is great for the audio people. So
yeah.
We also have returning from the Grit and Glitter podcast, Emily Fear is back with us.
Yeah, hi.
I'm pausing because I almost wrote that the wrong way on a tweet the other day. I'm like, nope, that's not the name. So, welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like last time I was here was like pre-Mania weekend or just immediately post-Mania weekend?
Oh, you were here over the summer for sure, right?
I don't think
no.
so.
What?
So.
We'll have to check the notes. They're definitely not here often enough. So
yeah, considering how close I am, I'm like, yeah, I could be here like most weeks.
Yeah, it's like, how's your Tuesday? You know, this is really just I'm in that comfort zone where like I just want to bring back people that I know. Like you're coming this week, Joe Dabrowski's coming next week. You know, it's just like this is the buddy cast at this point.
I feel like that, like we do that with our show too. And my co-host is always really good about like mixing it up and making sure that we have like, you know, interviews that people want to hear and like interesting segments. And I'm just like, we got these people that we like. Can we just bring them on? It's easy.
So what is the mission of the podcast? Is it to do the things that get out to a bigger audience or introduce people that you think are cool to an audience that you hope will also think they're cool?
I guess you kind of want to do both. And ultimately, like,
say both. Yeah.
Like if you have like your team and then like one of your correspondents who's like regularly involved, also be a part of bringing in like guests for interviews. That's like the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah.
But there's just so much to coordinate. And some weeks I just want to BS with my friends.
Right. It's like I just want to have a nice wrestle chat. You know? That's fine.
I don't want to like schedule, you know, some people are just so hard to schedule interviews with. Like it's so difficult to pin them down. And
I am surprised that we're doing an offshoot here at the beginning. I am surprised how many are afraid to do podcasts in the wrestling world.
So many, yeah. And I'm a little surprised by how many of them, and this is not a read on anyone in particular, but like, I just assume that if you are somebody who has to do a lot of traveling or do a lot of coordinating for like various like, gigs that you've got, you might have a better understanding of what your calendar looks like, or keep a calendar.
No, that's a problem. That's an ongoing problem with a lot of people.
And it's like, if I could tell wrestling training schools to like offer one augmentary course, it would be time management and scheduling for wrestlers.
There should be like people skills. It's like in high school when you got like a check balancing class. I didn't. They rolled that out by then. But like there should be just like life skills included in wrestling training, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I always think that at this point in this day and age, wrestlers should be trained in a couple of things that they weren't normally or weren't traditionally trained in, including like social media management, or either don't use it if you can't do it responsibly, or how to use it so that you don't blow up your own career by being an asshole on the internet.
Yeah.
And like, and basically like how to schedule.
Well, you're pointing at the guy in timeout. Yeah. Well,
Pointing at this guy.
Well, I guess you can do whatever you want if you've been on Sports Illustrated in the 80s. Anyway, so I went.
Is that the law?
Is that the bar that we have to cross?
That's our statute of limitations, I guess. Yes. Maybe, I don't know.
Exactly what year were you on Sports Illustrated? Okay,
all right. You fly. Yeah. It was a different time. I get it. So that probably would have been printed in Sports Illustrated in that age.
Oh, no.
Sorry, I was just watching a video with Kevin Smith talking about how Chasing Amy doesn't hold up quite as much as you think it would, from the 90s, because we talked different back then. So, yeah. Anyways, let's talk about wrestling then. I've got a lot to talk about. Of course, everybody here in some way, shape, or form was at Enjoy Wrestling this past weekend down in the south side of Pittsburgh. We'll talk about that. We have the PWI Women's 250 list in front of me right now. So I understand. I know I saw a couple friends of the show were a part of that.
Some of them in there.
I saw some conversation with you guys on the community chat and everything. So I'm very interested to see how this conversation goes. And whatever else is happening. I had a note somewhere for later in the show. We'll get to it. I don't know what it was. That's okay. I'll figure it out at the break. Anyways, there was a WrestleDream this past weekend. This is the second one. I love that the WrestleDream is just listen, when you do WrestleDream and they have the LED board, they're just this running waterfall the entire time. Like, I love it's the only wrestling show with a standard water feature through the entire thing. So that's my so dreaming happening in the Pacific Northwest in the middle of the woods is apparently the theme of this show in Tacoma, Washington. Now, I have not been to Tacoma, Washington.
I have.
You have? Is that pretty much on brand for Tacoma? That's a look that came with that.
I'm the wrong person to ask because I have bad feelings about Seattle and Tacoma, Washington based on a very specific person.
Oh, no.
And they are from Tacoma, Washington.
Nick Wayne.
So, like, that whole area yes. That whole area of the country could sink into the ocean.
Oh, geez. Don't do that. Tina's out there. She's in the chat right now.
Tina, get out of town.
You're saying emotionally it can fall into the ocean, not physically.
I'm saying that area sucks butts.
No.
But no, Tacoma is very beautiful. That's one of the reasons why they're all such jerks, because it's so beautiful out there.
Look, we have mountains and trees.
Exactly.
F you.
They're like, look, you can see the ocean and the mountains at the same time. Oh, we're so cool. Our coffee costs $17.
Wow. I'm definitely pulling this clip. We're getting the heat on this clip later. Actually, you're getting in the chat room right now. Tina says, I thought we were friends.
Tina, it's not about you. We are friends. You are probably the best thing about the Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
You are too good for them.
She is from Ohio, so
you're too good for Ohio too.
Well,
that's also very true.
Let's get you a better place.
We can find you a place. Pittsburgh's very nice. We're very nice in Pittsburgh. Anyways, so we did have the WrestleDream. We did have kind of. I was talking before the show about I didn't feel okay about being at a wrestling show until I saw the Will Osprey Ricochet match emotionally that night for some reason, and then we got a 3-way with Takeshita on top of things. So which made it even more incredible. And of course, and I don't know, I'm fuzzy from the weekend, but I believe Takeshi's the new champ, right?
Yes.
So, good story, great match, a lot of fun. I love throwing Takesha into that. You know, I mean, we've seen Ricochet and Osprey. We literally saw it 2 weeks ago, and you know, I thought that was a nice add-on for something like that.
Yeah, I'm glad that they actually went all the way with it, because I was dubious of whether or not they would actually like pull the trigger and get him a belt, but and take it off of Osprey of all guys. But it's a nice vote of confidence for Takeshita, who's like, who they've done a good job keeping like in the picture even when he didn't have a whole lot to do.
No, absolutely. He has been kind of lurking for a little bit, hasn't he?
He's been in lurker mode.
Lurker mode.
Which, like, keeping him on screen means that they're still paying attention, but like when he's not actively having a storyline specifically, it's like, okay, well, what's the deal? And then they kind of shove this really quickly in, which is curious. I wonder if there's behind the scenes reasons for it or not. But no, it's good to see to give him a belt, because I think he's great, and the audience does love him even as a heel.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's doing great things. I know he's been doing some New Japan stuff. Had a great showing at the G1, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he's a part of the New Japan show coming to the Boston area here next month too.
Yeah, I forgot that he was. I forgot about the G1. So that probably explains why he's been like not a huge presence in AEW over the summer, because like
he's been busy.
I
mean, it's like I love how Tony Storm is like off doing like Stardom and CMLL and stuff, and just having these amazing promos we talked about on the show a couple weeks ago.
Fantastic, except for the fact that because she wasn't at, I had been telling the person I went to the show with, the AEW Dynamite that was here, I was telling them all about Tony Storm, and I was really hoping Tony Storm would make an appearance, and I don't know why I assumed that was the case, because I knew she was off in Japan or wherever, but like it was a little disappointing. I'm like, oh man, you're not going to get to see this specific person who was excited for them to see in person.
That's one nice thing is, and there's other people kind of you can think about with this, but when you have a cool off period where obviously Tony's coming off of like almost a year as the champion, big story, needs to go away for a little bit, and she can go do literally other places, right, like this. Versus like Jimmy Uso was just off for 6 months, and he may have actually been rehabbing for all we know, but generally like that's not always the case. They're just like, hey, we're just gonna write you off for a few months. They're not doing anything else. I don't know. Maybe there's TV or something else that they're involved in or something like that, or maybe it just is a relief rest period vacation for them. But
I wish that was. I honestly wish that was more acceptable. Like I really do. Like. Because it should be a good thing when you don't see someone for 6 months and there's not an obvious health reason attached. That should be like, okay, great. They're getting a 6-month break. Yeah. They have to go year after year after year, 12 months a year, 365 days a year. Like, so if they get like an extended break for just like health and well-being and to have a little bit of time off, like audiences should be like, cool, awesome, okay. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. We'll see them back. Hopefully they'll get back with a really interesting storyline. But instead we're not trained to see it that way. We're trained to read in the worst, either like secret injury or known injury, or oh no, they're being
heat backstage.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, nothing to do.
Yeah.
Because that's actually that actually happened with like Bray. And like Bray Wyatt was one of the top guys, and he's off air, and they're like, when's Bray coming back? Why isn't Bray here? Where's Bray? Bray should be good here.
Yeah.
And it's like he's dealing with shit.
Yeah, like there's personal stuff, right? So like, and I think there's way too many people in AEW is always the word. It's like, there's room for people to take a break. That's okay.
Yeah, it's good. It should be good, but we have just not been trained that way, because that's never been the case.
No.
When guys were like, we are trained as wrestling fans to assume that if a guy who was like being booked really solidly is suddenly not around a bunch, then they fucked up, or someone fucked up, or they're just not getting booked,
or they have a contract dispute.
Yeah. We don't get to like celebrate their time off, which sucks. Like we should be like really happy for them to get some like rest and some R&R, but like instead we're just like, oh man, they're getting screwed over.
And even if they're doing something different, like a project or a movie or something like that, it's like, that's still like,
or having a kid.
Yeah, or having a kid, right? Like I don't have time.
How much speculation was around like Killer Kelly when she disappeared from TNA, and it was like, okay, so the rumors of a movie, rumors that her contract was up, rumors that there was disputes, none of which is clear. But then like finally we would find out like, oh no, she's just gonna have a kid. Like that's
cool,
great,
cool,
yeah.
good
cool.
for them.
No big deal.
And that actually I actually had an issue with this before, like this week actually, when we were talking about Bryan Danielson and how when he lost, and then the first thing that came out of people's mouths was, oh, when's he coming back? This can't be it, right? I'm like,
settle down, let the man live.
Be with his family.
Yes,
he wants to go live with his wife and kids.
Also, it's
the same thing we did with Jon Moxley back in the day, where it's like, let him go on vacation, let him do the thing.
Yeah. Also, like, if you're gonna say that your career is on the line, and then someone ends your career, you can't be back in like 2 weeks.
And when there is I mean, he did say end of regular full time. So don't think that Brian's not coming back at Wembley next year, or not Wembley. Yeah, I guess they are. No, are they doing Wembley? No, Forbidden Door's not at Wembley next year, but it is in the UK. But still, like then he's, maybe he'll come back for Grand Slam. Maybe he'll come back for Forbidden Door. So I mean, the door is still like cracked open for that. He does not say I am done. He's only, I think, 43 years old. God, he's my age. He's allowed to do that. He's fine. He's also, maybe he's still in the office. Maybe he's still going to be backstage. Who knows?
Yeah, he's fine. Let him do things.
I mean, if the result of this is that Bryan Danielson continues to earn a paycheck by training and working with other guys behind the scenes, then that's fantastic, because we already know that he has made an impact for so many of the people, but like has made an impact as a trainer and as a mentor for people behind the scenes there.
Yes.
So that's awesome. AEW needs as many sure hands as they can get, especially if they're willing to do that with the women's division.
Talking about the show, of course, we did have the plastic bag send-off. We had a pretty down note there to Mox winning and Brian being sent out on a slab practically with everybody in there. Random TikTok hit me about how brilliant this was, because Brian is out and now you set up so the line of storytelling that they're thinking is happening and they're parsing here is Mox talking about how people being soft and kind of hardening them up, getting them ready for the next phase. It's not your company anymore was the one phrase we're still trying to figure out, and the idea of this is the thing, going through this traumatic experience is what's going to make Orange Cassidy. You saw glimmers of that with backstages at the pay-per-view. Darby Allin, pushing them to be the top people, because now somebody said also that this is a very NWO like but God, even further kind of thing. There's like shock value to it. It's kind of like the Nexus. It's kind of the Nexus meets the Purge. I think is my vibe, right? You're gonna nod there, Rizz.
No, I
you see this?
No, I see it. I see it. Like I really see that, and I mean, I get what they're trying to do, and
Tina was there in person and said the air went out of the room, and Daniel Bryan's lungs when that happened.
Oh,
I added
Sorg.
That's fine.
Sorg.
That's fine. That's the point of it, though. Rizz,
I'm disappointed.
Rizz, you're the first one to give us a true reaction to a plastic bag spot. It's literally your profile picture as you're on camera back at Pit Fight.
True. Yeah,
okay, and now everybody has that reaction. Rizz, turns out you're the true trendsetter here. Or Emily Diaz. So
Emily Diaz.
Yes,
that's pretty much it.
So there's that. But anyway,
that was at a charity show, by the way. Just want to point that out there.
That was a charity show. That was a school. That was a school charity show. That was at a school. That was at Pitt University, at the Pitt campus, and they're just the Gambinos went wild, and yeah. That's my old videographer.
Yikes.
So, anyways, anything else from WrestleDream? I thought it was a really good, solid show. I didn't get the chance to watch 0 Hour or anything like that. I watched it all the next day.
The only thing I'll say is I kind of wish the Mortis and Hologram match wasn't following what it was following.
True. Definitely kind
Like
of in
it was
between.
following the Takeshita Will Osprey Ricochet match.
Yeah, God, what are you going to put there, right? But did you catch the implications of that match that they announced? That was their first night on Fox Sports Mexico. This got me on the research department here. So WWE is leaving all of the Fox Sports Mexico, because that's where they have their deal for all their programming down there, right? And we know that the Netflix deal outside of the U.S. is basically getting everything. Basically, the entire WWE nut is going into Netflix everywhere except for America for the most part. Mexico is one of those. Fox Sports is left with 0 wrestling content. And not only are they getting Rampage, Dynamite, and Collision, plus the pay-per-views, which that I can tell are just a part. Maybe they're on the premium app, whatever. They're on Fox Sports, however they do that down there in Mexico. They also get a Monday night program that recaps the week to take this place of Raw.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, like that's how all in they are. Excuse the pun. To like what happened there, and I think you're going to see. So again, this is one of those like, hey, WWE is going to take their ball over to Netflix because they got a bunch of money for it. But you just had this giant opening for every other wrestling organization worth anything looking for TV to fill in a lot of gaps worldwide on bigger platforms in certain countries, right? So, and I don't know if Fox Sports is like the big one or anything like that. But, we know WWE is pretty big everywhere. So wrestling is big almost everywhere. And if anything's more relatable to the Mexican audience, it's AEW, because there's a lot of crossover with CMLL right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, historically, is it CMLL or...
It used to be AAA, now it's with
AAA
CMLL, because AAA, I think, has a deal with TNA, and I think the TNA AEW relationship is a little sour right now, is my impression.
Well, it must be non-existent at the very least, because if they're working with the other guys, like, because that's still the stream that doesn't cross, right? Like, we've got a bunch of different doors wide open, but still the two universes, these two like mega universes, do not combine.
Yeah.
So their partners have to choose sides, essentially.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. Wrong way. That's another button. I'm trying something over on that screen. But anyways, Rosie the Ruff is in the chat room before we get the Patreon.
Hi.
Holy F, it's M.
Hi, Rosie.
Best dressed person in Pittsburgh.
No. Oh, not by a long shot.
Please ask M. Tell us her fashion ideology. Does she take inspiration from Miss Frizzle?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, it was a Miss Frizzle for the uneducated.
Miss Frizzle is the teacher from the Magic School Bus.
Ah.
She has bright, frizzy orange hair and a pet chameleon, and often dresses, her dresses are like a signature of her style, because she is often in like a print dress that matches the lesson of the like that particular Magic School Bus episode or book. So like if it's like a solar system one, it's like a space dress, etc.
Contextual wardrobe.
Yeah.
I like it.
I do love it. If I could like completely theme every day, it would be amazing.
Today is Pumpkin Day. Today is, yes.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
You're too kind, Rosie. Too kind.
Hey, let's give a shout out to our friends that are supporting the show on Patreon, patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. We have a Patreon feed as a little bit. When we go to commercial, you'll see whatever we're chatting about and everything like that over there. And of course, you'll get the Patreon first whenever we do our post show, including the banned persons that often join us on those shows that we are not allowed to have on the main show due to order by somebody.
How do you get banned?
How do you get banned? That's a story that will remind us on Patreon.
I haven't gotten banned yet somehow.
You haven't had anybody say, hey, you probably shouldn't be doing that show anymore that employs you.
Well, maybe Tina now. I'm sorry,
Maybe
Tina.
I mean, Tina is like a Patreon supporter.
Tina,
so like a long time.
Tina, I take everything
the mother
back.
Of dragons.
I take everything back.
I mean, we did actually have to. We had a Patreon supporter suggest banning somebody in the past. And we did heed it. And then when they left Patreon, we started letting them back on the show because I didn't entirely agree. But, I was like, hey, man, you're supporting the show. I will respect your wishes. And I think you have a very good reason for it. And, that's why Rizz took a sabbatical. So, anyways, maybe I'll tell you about it on Patreon. Who knows? So anyways, where are we at? Oh, Patreon. Yes, patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Everybody that supports the show. Thank you to everybody at the fan of the show level. Bo Diggity! Woo! As well as Team Hammerfist, the Tupac family. That's how I want to say it now, I think. And
wait, should we do like the...
What? No gang signs. What?
Okay.
No gang
signs.
Claps? No,
should we do the claps?
The claps? I can't even hear the claps on the Zoom, dude.
I know.
It's too good. It's too good. I didn't even hear the dog on the last show. So, but also, where was I at? Bubba Brewer of the Triple B podcast and our friends at APWF, and Jason French in the Poppy Club level, Dave Profbot Bonner, Rats in a Trench Coat, Tony Kincaid, and at the Pizza Club level, the Rizz, and at the manager level, Bradley. I'm sure he loves that we do this. I think he listens to the audio version, so I don't think this is a problem. So
no, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's part of history.
It is part of it, and it's part of making sure it makes an impact on this show. So
this is actually really good framing.
Hashtag
I just want to point that out.
Oh, this is your shot from VCW.
This is my shot.
That's why you put that over. Man.
Oh no, this is also my favorite shot.
Yes, that's the portfolio right there.
Yeah,
that's a Rizz folio right there. All right, so speaking of recognition,
there we go, much better.
The PWI 250 women's list. Are there not enough women to fill 500? Is that the problem, or
we have talked
are they just tired after the 500?
I think it's probably more of that than lack of women.
We know how we feel after Mayhem Mania.
We typically have talked to on our show. We'll talk to Kevin and Kristen Ashley and other people involved with these lists. And I think when we've asked about that particular question in the past, it's been one of those answers of like, we'll get there. Which, they have been making steady progress in the last couple of years about adding like 50 here, 50 there. So like, it won't shock me at all when they go to 300, when they go higher than that. But we take progress where we can get it. And they've actually have like expanded the number within a really like limited time, like span of years. So not picking on them yet. Would love to see a proper 500 for the women because we certainly have that talent. There was lots of names not on this list that like deserve to be there.
Progressiveness takes time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So,
and they put a lot of lists together.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I could give them a lot of leeway here. They're going in the right direction.
Absolutely. So, Rizz, why is this list incomplete?
So
is it somebody was trying to write it manually?
Trying to do.
Okay.
It's from the Squared Circle Reddit page.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I think I'm banned over there.
Yeah, it's like they have most of them, but there are some that aren't filled in. Like I think the first one's like 118.
Yeah,
no idea who's there, but I think it's just that they're filling them in whenever like
as people share their PWI status, they're probably finding it.
They share their page
because like you see like the Danny Moe one, but you see like all the like 8 people around or in the columns to figure out who's where and stuff, right? So Danny Moe I saw on there, Maxine Peller at 59, is Sky Blue's up there, Queen Aminata at 55. Okay, let's look at our top picks here.
Let's look at the top picks because I think they got it right.
Let me go. Give you your top 5 here. Top 5. Number 5, Stephanie Vacour, who's amazing. I've seen her only a couple times, and I'm completely on board. 4 is Micah. I need the picture version of this, guys. Rhea Ripley at 3, Jordynne Grace at 2, and Toni Storm at number 1. I see no problems with this. I think some people could make an argument for Rhea versus Jordynne, but I think they also aren't seeing everything Jordynne is doing over in TNA right now, right? Like she's really, really pushing the envelope.
Yeah, you're just clearly not aware that she is like still like responsible for the bulk of what is happening in the women's division over there right now.
And as much as she's been on WWE TV too, so she's literally she's crossing the line.
And I mean,
more are coming.
And likely going to end up being NXT talent sooner
Oh,
than
absolutely.
Later. So
yeah.
So we know that her time in TNA is likely to come to a close soon. Like, she deserves all the attention now. She'll get more of it when she's in NXT. So it's good to have her in that top 10.
I don't know if these are people or somebody just misspelled Saria. Bailey at 7, Willow at 8, Mariah May at 9. It was great for kind of the first year AEW run, I guess we can say. Obviously, she's got background with Stardom and everything. Athena at 10.
Really good at Stardom.
Athena at 10, and somebody I remember in the chat earlier, on the community chat on Facebook for Mayhem Show, they were talking. She is underrated because she's been like the person on Ring of Honor and carrying that for the last how long at this point.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's tough when you are on. It's tough when you have a high profile position in a company that has accessibility limitations.
Absolutely.
Because it's a subscription thing. So like, she is doing incredible work. She is a dominant figure in Ring of Honor, not just of women, like a dominant figure on that roster. She is bringing people into ROH. The problem is that it's ROH.
Yeah. So
absolutely. There's a ceiling.
I was really hoping that they come in with this WB deal, or something, but maybe it's still coming. Who knows? Maybe there's a separate thing where they bring it on to Max next year or something like that. So.
I sure hope so, because there is really good stuff happening with Ring of Honor, but like, it's just who wants to have another subscription? And also the way that they do their tapings now for Ring of Honor, the way aside from pay-per-views, the way they do their tapings, I mean, you were there, like it's hard to get amped for an average like episode of ROH television, essentially, because like you're paying for it now, and that means the quality needs to justify you paying for it. And a lot of times what we're seeing is filmed in front of an audience that is still kind of cold.
Then again, like Rampage was kind of weirdly cold too this week but also it was after a late Dynamite, plus like those injuries at the beginning and everything like that. And for those who don't know, when Pittsburgh, AEW was in Pittsburgh a few weeks ago.
Feels like years.
I need more coffee. There was 2 injuries. The opponent for Lady Frost had some kind of injury, and I think they cut short the match. And Sammy Guevara, they did a stoppage. He had a match with Serpentico.
Yes.
And it was weird because it was like they landed in the same place, right? And both got carted off. Both got stretchered out. So it was really, really scary, and not quite back to back, but it was like 4 of the matches before Dynamite, and these were 2 of them.
Yeah.
So it was a little rough. So which makes me wonder if that championship match was supposed to happen earlier, perhaps. Because we had Rampage after a late running Dynamite overrun, and we got an ROH championship match between Briscoe and Taven at like 11:45 on a Wednesday. So it's just like, yeah, I'm still like, somebody was like, you having fun? I'm like, yep, still here watching the main event, So it's been really interesting there. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm one of the sickos that pays for Ring of Honor, because I'm here for. I want to see what everybody's doing on that level.
Yeah, and I don't blame you, because there's a lot of good stuff happening over there. It's
Absolutely.
just you have to make the choice to like subscribe to it, and a lot of people just can't
it's
manage
harder.
one more.
It's harder right now. Yeah. Maybe at least for those like, hey, Death Before Dishonors this month, that makes a lot of sense, right? Versus paying $30 for it, $40 for it by itself. So I'm glad they went back to that model at least.
Yes, at the very least now it makes more sense.
Yes. And also knowing that what we know now of Bleacher Report fading away and AEW coming on the Max, also understanding why they brought that in. Or maybe they just didn't have the numbers too. So back to it. Any other standouts here on this list so far?
My favorite, Maki Ito.
Where's Maki Ito?
Where do you think Maki Ito is going to be?
They didn't.
She's number 69.
Ah!
Of course Maki Ito is number 69. because that's the best number.
We really need to get Kevin on the show now, just so I can be like, all right, so justify this as is and not just for the joke that you guys wanted it to be.
Well, I mean, I remember during the men's one, there was the 500 was just memes. So this fits perfectly with what you said. Like, what do you just tell me what you're doing here?
Yeah, tell me that, like, give me the justification for this aside from just like we had to do it.
Nothing really kind of sticking out here as far as the only like friend of the show that I saw was Danny Moe was a part of this.
Danny Moe is
she got a good spot.
Right? She's 3 spots ahead of Chelsea Green.
No way.
Yeah, Danny Moe is like 109, right?
Hey, let's go.
Wow, she's been everywhere.
She's been everywhere.
Danny
she's
Moe
been
is outranking like major signed talent.
Yeah, like I'm looking at a lot of WWE talent. Like I think Asuka's behind her at this point. But also she's been injured through much of the year too. And also Chelsea's been really hitting a stride like literally right now. Like the stuff off of that dumpster match was like incredible, right? And she still, quote unquote, I watched SmackDown last night. She still smells after a week. It's just like, wait a minute now. You know, we're kind of leaning into this too much. Thea Hale, Pittsburgh local. Thea Hale at 194
should have ranked higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, because I understand that she's not always. They don't, from what I know of NXT, but like. I know that she's not always utilized in matches, but like when she is, she always delivers. And also like she's been consistently part of the story for the entire year.
Absolutely.
Like her presence has meant something even when she's not active in matches. I get that like certain things like because of the way that this list works, that's important that she needs to have those wins. But like, I'm just a little surprised that she's that low.
Comparatively, another local, just a few spots ahead, at 191 is Lady Frost, who's been doing, and she's been getting some title matches, proving grounds matches, and things like that. Always gets attention when she's out there, regardless of if it's just a squash spot or something like that. Not a squash spot, but you know what I mean. You know, she's obviously being put in these like, hey, we need to, you know, hey, you're on Collision, you know, to spruce up, you know, Serena Deeb or something, right? Leading into a title match or something like that. So, and that's fine too. But still, like, whenever she's on, the tweets are all over the place for her. So she's getting attention, and she's putting together 2 good matches with them with great talent. Anything else sticking out in here?
I think
Alexis Littlefoot. She is. Did I see her at Stardom? I think. Yes, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she was at the Mania. I think she was at the Mania Stardom show weekend, and definitely very impressive for what I think is a relatively young talent as well.
Yes, she was at the show at ECW, right?
Yeah. She's the one. I believe I saw an interaction between her and Sumi Sakai after the match, which is she's like, "You always get me so stressed out," or something like that, you know, going into the match. And you know, it was a 6-woman match, as you know, a lot of those were that night and everything like that. And she really stuck out on that night against, you know, Stardom's like a crazy amount of talent on those shows. So even for a relatively that show was under 2 hours. Like it was a breezy show.
That show,
it was crazy.
That show is maybe the shortest wrestling show I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you unless you count like the free shows that Enjoy has done, et cetera, where they do hour blocks. No, of an actual ticketed show that you pay good money to go to.
But it didn't feel like it.
No, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Too many shows are too long.
Yes.
I don't need a 3-hour show.
Especially Mania weekend when you probably got like 3 shows that day.
Well, and that was perfect for the Stardom show because we were going from whatever GCW show, the 2 shows that we had watched, run into Stardom, and then a bunch of people left Stardom and ran back to GCW to catch the second half of Bloodsport because they had time. Whereas I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to get dinner because then we were going back for DDT at the Collective. So like, but as a result, Stardom fit right in that pocket. It was perfect. People got to have the best of both worlds. No, more short shows during Mania weekend, please.
Awesome. Well, pretty good list. I generally, what are you seeing from this list? Does everything, any arguments with any of these listings so far or anything like that?
Nothing. I'm going on the record.
No, I mean, to go back up with Athena for a minute, she's gonna be top 5 next year.
Has to be. There's got to be something coming up with her, right?
Like her snowball effect is getting too hard to like ignore.
Yeah, agreed.
So she's gonna be top 5.
It's hard because like they can't necessarily award placement on this based on like sheer charisma or it factor, right? Like there has to be some measurement so that they can like stand behind these rankings as like in some qualitative form. But when you see someone who clearly is going to have that big era of their career like right beforehand, and then you see that they're like pretty low on a list like this, it's surprising.
I mean, and 10 on a 250 out of 250 isn't that low, but still, it's going to be fun to see her rise even further.
I'm checking something real quick. I want to make sure I did not mess this up because I saw that Alexa's from Kentucky, and I want to make sure I'm not confusing her with somebody else I saw recently. But anyways, we'll double check that in a minute. But in the meantime, I might be mistaken. Alexa Littlefoot, I probably know from NeoPro. I think I'm confusing her with another girl from Stardom, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at her 2024 cage match. Yes, I think she's more of a regional wrestler right now, but she's sticking out there. No, she is one that stuck out with she stuck out on NeoPro. I'm sorry, I'm confusing that. So now I want to find out who I'm talking about from Stardom.
Yeah, who are we talking?
Okay, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go look at the Stardom card from the ECW Mania weekend during the break, and then I'm going to correct myself. So she was actually on 2 matches in NeoPro. It was actually the NeoPro show I went to in March. That's where I met her. Okay. Listen, that was within like 3 weeks of each other, 2 weeks of each other. So I think that's why I'm meshing them. But awesome. So that is on Indie Wrestling Network, which is good timing because you can go to IndyWrestling.us and catch up on all this wrestling, including our friends at NeoPro Wrestling. The last year of shows, their first year of shows, is over at IndyWrestling.us on VOD over there streaming, and we are providing DVDs. I've got some orders going out here in the very near future for those as well. And they have a show next week on the 25th of this month up in Salem, Ohio, if you want to go check that out in person as well. Good crew, good shows up there. They've had Tommy Dreamer and Rhino there in recent months as well because all the ECW guys are coming back to the area lately, I've noticed. And of course, this weekend, we got a lot going on with our friends at Thursday Night Fights at AEW Wrestling, and as well as their debut at the Penn Brewery is going to be streaming on there. And also RWA's was a Bloody Harvest is going to be this weekend. And that includes a dog collar match between...
Get it right.
Super Hentai Preston Everest and HL Supreme. Why are you mad? Why are you mad, Rizz?
Super Hentai.
Super Hentai, the quotations. He purchased the name from HL Supreme somehow. I don't know.
Then he's
legal trademarks
Super Hentai.
He's
He has the name. He has the chain. He does
have
moves,
a chain.
He has the mask.
Yeah.
He's Super Hentai.
Different tattoos.
He's the guy that I've seen in like.
He's the guy that had an epic ladder match with Troy Lords in 2006.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I've seen him headbutt somebody and have a big knot on that guy's head.
Okay. Absolutely the same person. Absolutely.
Same person, bud.
Well, you can figure that out for yourself here. And of course, IWA is going to have a free match, and I found out what the free match is going to be, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun for you guys. So go check all of that out. IndyWrestling.us. A lot of fun wrestling for you guys to watch and catch up on there. And you never know who's going to pop up. So speaking of which, we have 2 people that were in the audience of Enjoy Wrestling's Very Evil this past weekend. No spoilers, of course, because their show is going to be coming out soon generally, but we could talk about some moments, and some that are already all over social media, I noticed. Especially with some of our local guys that were included in some matches here. But generally, this is a new venue for Enjoy, and obviously, like, Enjoy's going to making a splash here lately. Just bringing I guess I can say high quality production wrestling into the Pittsburgh area and into the city itself. There's actually their second one in the city because Stage AE was the first, and we talked a lot about that. So you guys were in the audience. I was behind production, helping out for the first time with Enjoy on some stuff, and IndyWrestling.us. So full disclaimer: IndyWrestling.us did sponsor the Danhausen versus Darius Carter match, which was a good pick, by the way. Two of my favorites in wrestling going at it. I didn't know I needed to see that match for sure.
Didn't know I needed to see that match.
Yeah, right. I didn't know that's a match that I needed to exist in my life, but I was here for it.
Both wrestlers, fantastic. Enjoy both wrestlers immensely. Mm-hmm. Never in my brain put them in the same ring.
No.
Just never did.
Yeah.
They're two of like the most different ends of the extreme of just how wrestling is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One's super serious, one's fucking Danhausen.
And both of them big characters, but in very different ways, right? They have different wrestling styles, but they're also like very different types of characters while still both being very big. Mm-hmm. So it worked really well. But it just wasn't any kind of recipe. Like, it's like when you discover that like two flavors go together, like, wow, okay, unlocked. What else can we do with this?
This is a wonderful box of Neapolitan here.
It's the you got chocolate in my peanut butter.
or you got teeth in my peanut butter, however you want to roll with that. I
definitely got a tooth.
You definitely got a tooth.
I did, yeah. The person I was with wanted a tooth, and I was like, well, I'm going to get a tooth for them. So I scrabbled up towards the ring. And some guy was like grabbing a bunch that were on the ground. He had like 4 of them. I was like, come on, you have like 4 teeth. Don't bogart the teeth, man.
That is the weirdest sense.
But
it's professional wrestling fits so well into that sense.
Rizz, I told you about when we were doing Conquest and they had a Danhausen featured show, and there's barricades there, but the children passed the barricades to all come and gather teeth at ringside. Like a gaggle of children. Like, I turned around and they were like coming at me and then bypassed me for the pile of teeth. And I was like, what is happening right now? Why are we letting these kids at the ringside right now post Danhausen match?
I have to say, this is the second time I've been in a crowd of people chanting teeth, teeth, teeth. In about a 3-week time period.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that's a lot, but I'm saying that it's kind of funny that it's happened more than once, considering how short a time frame we're talking about.
Oh, just in the several months, I can't believe how many bag suffocations I've seen in pro wrestling. I was like, well, this is an interesting line,
Yeah,
So
it's oh no, we're in the trend.
Yeah,
everyone's gonna be doing it now.
Yeah. And maybe everybody's gonna do it shitty on the indies, even though it was the indies I saw it first. Amazingly. So
the best one I saw was like on Mystery Wrestling, where the guy just pour a hole into the bag, and then they're like, "Oh, that's how you do it. That's how you reverse that."
Somebody show Brian this. Anyways, what do you think of the venue, the vibe? Anything else from the show there in person?
I don't know, Emily, if you saw just the amount of people in tracksuits that were there.
What? Like in the audience?
In the audience. Like, I was like, it was weird. Like,
this is what perplexed you all night. You're at a brewery with arcade games and Danhausen and all this stuff.
There
and approximately
is a good story about
2 bathrooms.
What's that?
And approximately like 2 bathrooms.
Yeah,
that are like miles away from where the ring is. Yeah, that was fun.
So I really appreciate that Enjoy has been branching out from Mr. Smalls and doing these like experiments with like really big venues like Stage AE and more reverent venues like Vellum Fermentation. And I really like Vellum as a space. It was my first time there, and I thought it was a great space. The one caveat The one catch, and if they ever have a wrestling show here again, they need to consider this, is that there are 3 single stall bathrooms, like 3 single bathrooms in the entire establishment, and they are located in the back cafe area. So you have to walk down a long, long corridor to get there.
There's a whole 2 toilets in one of the men's rooms, though. The one around the corner.
Well, okay. Didn't stop the line from
I
being
know that's not going to do a lot.
Extraordinary.
And I don't know what the draw is for that place. I know I think they close to, if not sold out, the ringside, all the ringside seating, and just had standing room only.
Yeah.
So
I got the sense, we had a friend come a little late, and I got the sense that at some point they weren't doing a whole lot of like super close observation as far as who was coming in the door.
No.
So at a certain point, so like there were likely people in the standing room area that like didn't pay to be there.
No.
Just wandered in.
Yeah,
a regular wrestling show.
I kind of got that vibe. Like,
Yeah.
like even when I like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll probably speak to afterwards, but yeah, it was just like people just like came in, but it was wrestling. It was fun.
The question came from the chat room. Why the tracksuits? And I think that's the question you're asking. You just
Sure.
noticed a
Like,
lot
it
of the
was
patrons
weird. Like,
had
it was
tracksuits.
Southside? Maybe it like was people from, it's like a Southside maybe
It could
like
be the South Side thing.
you know?
Like it was
people were just
it was
wandering
one
off
of
of
those-
Carson on the tracksuits.
Like, welcome to the
like,
flats.
the one person that was standing next to the entire night had a bright green tracksuit on, and then all of a sudden this one guy comes through with another tracksuit on, and then another guy who's even bigger, who looks like a beefier version of Wardlow.
A beefier.
Wait, beefier. I think. Wait, was this like old Wardlow you told me about?
Yes.
Old
Okay.
Wardlow.
Yeah, like he was man bun, but gray beard Wardlow.
Okay.
And
Maybe
it
it was just
was-
Wardlow incognito.
But he was like triangle shaped.
Oh, like how
Broad,
like sometimes like when guys get really beefy in a specific way, they look like a Dorito.
yes.
They
Broad
get
shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah, like I always say that's what Pac looks like. Pac looks like a Dorito because he's shaped just like a triangle. That's the Particle Man by They Might Be Giants. When they talk about Triangle Man, they're talking about Pac. He has this perfect triangle. Uh-oh.
But yeah, like that's all I thought about that entire like the pre-show. I'm like,
Built like a
what's
brick
happening?
Dorito.
Like, is it
Just
like
a
I'm
Dorito
okay?
with
Is
a
this like
head
a
and arms.
is this like a mob house? Like,
Exactly.
am I good? Should I be worried? Should I like not be here? What's going on? Like,
I've seen this movie.
yeah, I've seen. The
Oh my
Sopranos
God, it's a
before.
tracksuit
Rizz-
mafia from Hawkeye.
Were you worried that like you would look down at some point at your own self and you would be wearing a tracksuit?
Yes.
That like suddenly like we're all in tracksuits. We're it's all of us.
I'm definitely not going to have nightmares about that.
I mean, they're so comfortable and stylish.
They
Why
are.
would you have
They're very-
nightmares?
Which is funny.
It's a
'cause
dream.
I think Enjoy is one of the only, as a wrestling promotion, one of the only high-profile companies that don't have their own tracksuits right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sorg, you had a track jacket.
I did wear mine in. Yeah,
So Sorg was part of the problem, right?
No. I just
it
have
was
the
your
I got
fault,
my New
Sorg.
Japan. It was cold. I had my New Japan jacket. You know, it's just how I rolled. So yeah.
I was not wearing a tracksuit,
No,
Okay. No tracks.
I was not.
but I could. Oh man, we had one of those like early 2000s like velour tracksuits with like something written on the butt.
Like pink or plush or something.
But I wanted to be something like really stupid, like
teeth. Just put teeth.
teeth. No, that feels like an invite.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah.
true.
You don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
no,
Yeah.
no.
You never-
Especially with some place there's alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not
No.
gonna end well.
Yeah,
for anybody.
I can say I don't like long entrance ways because there's a
Oh,
lot.
that was
I had some
really
flashbacks to
long.
RWA.
That was
people doing Batista poses while we're waiting for the people to come out. I'm like, motherfucker.
that was a runway length
Yeah.
entrance.
And we recorded so we
And-
couldn't go the whole way.
Yeah.
So-
And I feel bad because Honey Darling was one of the guards that was trying to
I think
not have people cross the line.
I think she's the official
entire
But
line.
there's too much. There was too much space.
There was way too much space.
When you have that
She was
much space, there's
waiting.
no way to avoid it.
No, there isn't. There
No.
isn't.
And then like I'm just standing there, and I'm just like, she's looking at me. I'm like, okay. Like my arms
Wait,
were
did you
out.
become
I'm like,
part of the security
I got
staff?
part of, I was part
Does
of
she know
security
you're
for a
not
little
working
bit.
that night?
Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, but
She was looking at you. She's like, "Why are you slacking? Come on, get to
Yeah,
work."
come on,
You're
come
like
on.
you're
Where's your
always
camera?
with Sorg. You must be on
Like,
duty right
pull your
now.
weight.
Where's your camera?
And I was like,
What's
no,
going
you
on?
go sit in the seats. You got my ticket. So
But I was not sitting in a seat.
you were
Sorg.
not sitting
I
in a
was-
seat. No, you
I did what I do all of the time, which is stand for 8 hours.
Oh, man.
I sat and it was great. Enjoy having a seat and enjoy. I will
Hey.
say that them going back to Mr. Smalls in December, I'm psyched because I miss Smalls as their venue.
Different vibe. Different vibe.
Different-
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
very different vibe there.
But it's been
Mhm.
kind of fun to have shows where I get to sit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm an old lady. Like it's
Hey.
nice to like not stand for several hours.
880 has a row of seats on Saturday.
Really?
Yeah. They only have the first row,
Oh, man.
and it's
One
almost sold
row.
out. But you can bring your chair if you have GA. So that's.
you can just
I was just looking at details today.
I mean,
so just putting that out there to plug the 880 show at Penn Brewery this weekend. Let's keep this brewery situation going in
BYOC,
Pittsburgh.
Let's go.
Technically, you can BYOC to the regular 880 shows, but you will be sitting.
Yeah, you don't want to. Actually, they do sell. There's a seats on the wall on the opposite side that they sell as VIPs, and for the handicap.
I
think.
didn't know that you could actually purchase like tickets for those seats.
We need to. I don't know what's happening at the front of the room, but we need to have a conversation about that. Apparently, so. Yeah. No, I was there when he was going over that. So, anyways. Damn it. Anything else for the weekend? For the show?
I mean,
go ahead.
the Palace and MV Young match,
So good.
So
Real
good,
fun.
real good.
So fun.
and I'm surprised it was the first time they've
Yeah.
ever.
I
fought.
didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering how long they've both been around. Like
Mhm.
I'm really surprised. I also thought that TME Kings of the District match was the match of the
Ooh.
night.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Not to speak ill of any of the other matches, but I just that match ruled. It was so good. And I'm a mark for Kings, specifically Jordynne Blade, so like I'm a little biased in that regard, but I just think the teams had tremendous chemistry, and it's always really fun to see a powerhouse team go up against a team that has more like flying and like technical chops, so like it's just a perfect dynamic.
Maybe he wanted breadsticks for some reason.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Like because like all the like ankle snapping, you're like, I want to snap into a
Oh,
breadstick.
you didn't hear it. You didn't. Maybe I'm just.
Oh
hearing it.
wait, the Olive
Yeah,
Garden stuff.
the Olive Garden versus Cheesecake Factory chance.
Yes.
What?
You were there.
Okay. Understand.
You were working.
Understand. I'm working in it, and one ear is the mix, and I didn't have any crowd noise in my mix because of the way we were recording some things. So all I got is Jem and Rich and in my ear, and some other stuff that I'm just like, I'm not doing master mixes, so it's just like I just have to make sure it's there,
Yeah.
and then that's it. So, and I had 0 audience mics, so like the only thing I can hear is coming from literally the headsets at ringside.
There was an argument between Jordynne Blade and Duke Davis about where they were gonna go to dinner, where they
I thought where they went to dinner.
Where they
Like,
were
where they
supposed-
went.
Wait, is that the face off at the beginning of the show?
where they were
Yeah.
supposed
I
to go
thought
to
that was
dinner?
just a hype thing. I didn't know there was an actual food conversation.
Well, there was an exchange on Twitter that was about like getting taken to dinner, and then they were debating on where dinner was, and Duke Davis insisted Olive Garden, and Jordan countered with Cheesecake Factory.
Oh,
Mhm.
the ultimate question.
Cheesecake Factory is closer though.
So, gentlemen,
right down the way.
which one are you choosing? Which side of that chant
That's actually
are you
a good.
on?
That's actually a good question.
That's a
I
dating
will-
profile question there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
I like both places
oh,
to a certain
Oh, wait,
extent.
we're getting
oh no,
serious.
we're both
Oh,
siding
no.
it.
But
oh no.
but
Oh,
but
no. Where are you taking the lady?
Cheesecake Factory has cheesecake.
Where are you taking the lady?
That's true,
Cheesecake Factory has cheesecake
but
and a
actually-
whole list of cheesecake.
Olive Garden also has those type of cheesecake desserts and tiramisu.
But how much? is there a menu full of cheesecake?
No, but do you really need a menu full of cheesecake? Like after a certain point, it's getting redundant. It's like those places that have like a gazillion ice cream flavors. Like, okay, cookies and cream and like vanilla cookie explosion. These are the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. I mean,
Take
but
that,
still,
Cold Stone Creamery.
But
Yeah.
still, they have enough flavors where you can be like, okay, there's a lot of cookies and cream, and there's birthday cake that's, it's not really a flavor, but they have other stuff with the cheesecake. They have like a blueberry cheesecake. They have a banana pudding cheesecake, which is, by the way, my favorite cheesecake.
I would really like this if this became like the Jericho list and you just started listing all the cheesecakes, and then we went to break, and then when we came back, you were still listing cheesecakes on the Cheesecake Factory menu.
Well, either way, we can enjoy wrestling. We can enjoy restaurants and cheesecake. And we can also enjoy these ads, and we'll be back to talk more wrestling after we apparently get a snack or some sort. We'll be right back.
Yeah, we're going to need cheese.
I'm Eamon.
I'm Merlin.
And we're a gay.
And his NB.
Are you a reality television connoisseur?
Do you like it discussed from an LGBTQ lens?
If so, A Gay and His NB is the podcast for you.
Hear us break down all your favorite guilty pleasure reality shows from Bravo, Drag Race, and just about everything in between.
Listen to A Gay and His NB on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Eamon.
I'm Merlin.
And we're a gay.
And his NB.
Are you a reality television connoisseur?
Do you like it discussed from an LGBTQ lens?
If so, A Gay and His NB is the podcast for you.
Hear us break down all your favorite guilty pleasure reality shows from Bravo, Drag Race, and just about everything in between.
Listen to A Gay and His NB on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Eamon.
I'm Merlin.
And we're a gay.
And his NB.
Are you a reality television connoisseur?
Do you like it discussed from an LGBTQ lens?
If so, A Gay and His NB is the podcast for you.
Hear us break down all your favorite guilty pleasure reality shows from Bravo, Drag Race, and just about everything in between.
Listen to A Gay and His NB on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Cheesecake, Reese's peanut butter chocolate cheesecake, Godiva chocolate cheesecake. See, they have everything. Coconut cream pie cheesecake. Adam, I don't know who Adam is. Adam's peanut butter cup fudge ripple cheesecake.
Adam has a cheesecake?
Adam has a cheesecake.
Like the Adam of the Bible?
I don't know.
Oh my!
It doesn't say who
is
Adam
there
is.
Apple or a snake in it?
Or a rib?
Or all three. You don't know.
That's an awkward one to share with your lady, though.
Celebration cheesecake. Obviously, there's been.
Ooh,
now the cinnamon swirls cheesecake.
Ooh.
Cinnamon squirrels?
Swirl.
Swirls.
I said. Toasted marshmallows, s'mores galore, which is actually one of the ones I had before. It was okay. Fresh banana cream cheesecake, my favorite.
Why is s'mores stuff never as good as you want it to be? Like, what aside from actual s'mores, but like you get a s'mores like flavored treat or something.
I got a more important question. What the hell is a snickerdoodle?
Oh, it's a cinnamon sugar cookie.
Yeah. You don't know that?
I don't know.
You never made
Dolce de
Never been able to place
leche
it.
caramel cheesecake.
Ooh, Dolce. Oh, that sounds.
Anyways,
sold
we'll
on
forward this
Cheesecake
all
Factory.
to Jordan and Duke Davis. We have from the chat room.
Hershey's chocolate bar cheesecake.
Matt is in the chat room. Matt Perch, my favorite match of the night from Enjoy was either the insane 7-way ladder match or the Mikey Montgomery versus Billy Dixon, which involved handcuffs, by the way. So
it did.
Oh God, am I spoiling?
Really? Oh
No.
yeah.
We won't get in. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's pictures.
Well, you don't know who's doing the handcuffing.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll say that they were like a really long set of handcuffs.
Yes, when Mikey's tiny, so it kind of worked.
Oh,
Sorg.
What?
Sorg.
We don't know who was handcuffed.
You don't know? Maybe they're handcuffed together. I don't know. Find out when Enjoy releases their footage.
Lowlicious cheesecake. With
God,
strawberry.
Riz, we gotta bring it back around. What the hell did I even note for this section of the show? I don't even. Damn it.
Instead of a dog collar match, you got two guys who are like handcuffed to each other.
Yeah. Oh.
Do they do that? Have they done that?
That's
Isn't it? That has to be a thing.
I mean, it's like a leather strap match or something, or a chain match or something. Like I've seen those kinds of versions, but I actually have nothing for this segment. I guess I don't know unless there's something WWE to talk about.
Never.
No,
it
does not.
I don't. I mean, I still update. I still don't watch it.
Okay, not even for Rhea, not even for Liv. And we got some great. Because everybody's involved because now Nia is going to wrestle Liv for a big multi-diamond belt in Saudi Arabia. So
looks
now
like Krang.
everybody is involved on every show, and it's a whole crazy lady fest.
I do what a lot of people do when it comes to these storylines, and I just like get the highlights on Twitter.
And that is perfectly fine. Watch the YouTube highlights. What happened this week? I think you get the gist of it.
You know what the bad thing is? Like I know they went to 2 hours. But I always forget they went 2 hours. So when I'm on like the computer a lot and I'm just looking at stuff, and I realize it's 10 o'clock.
And
then I
they're
go back
done.
And then I go back.
Mondays are back.
Now I'm watching the Anonymous, which again is no Ratfish. I'm just gonna point that out there every time. It's no Ratfish. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to dropout.tv. It's an amazing show. But like I kind of miss the 3 hours, but I'm not going to complain about it because like we were saying, we can just watch it on clips and shit. Like if we see something fun, we can I watched the War Raiders come back, which is amazing.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, that's cool.
As the War Raiders.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. All right.
And they murdered Tozawa. Almost.
That was a gross move.
Yeah.
I don't know it's because Tozawa's so tiny, but holy crap. No, I'm here. I'm here
White
for
chocolate raspberry truffle cheesecake.
Damn it!
I'm just gonna throw these in here every few minutes, just see if you're paying attention.
It was very women's talent focused. I thought last night on Raw. Like I felt like it was like half the show between Rhea. We had a Rhea segment start the show, if I'm not mistaken. We had a big schmoz thing. We had the tag match with Rhea and Tiffany Stratton teaming up. And did we had a women's title match last night too with Damage Control. So, and we had the NXT girls on Friday as well against the champions. So, like, I'm enjoying watching. I sat down to watch SmackDown, flipping through the commercials and stuff, and I ended up like, oh no, I still have 15 minutes until I can watch Raw on the DVR. So I went and watched something else for a while. And then watch. I'm like, this is so breezy right now. Like WWE is no longer homework. It's my feeling. I'm not even like burnt out that I don't want to watch NXT after the show tonight. Right? I'm probably gonna put it on while I'm editing this podcast. So like, I'm like, thank you for WWE. I don't know where this does. I know SmackDown's gonna go to 3 hours. And that's going to be a whole nother bag. But at least it's like 3 hours I can sit down on Monday, watch my 3 hours and skip the commercials, and then put on Raw after. It's still a night thing for me, which is kind of nice. So, because weekends are just everywhere. So that's the WWE report. Go watch it because it's kind of easier now. So, and can't wait for Netflix in January. So actually, no, I can't wait for that. I want to see what that does to that landscape. That's so wild to me.
It's gonna be so weird.
WWE's on Netflix, like that is such a game changer. It's been. I know they did a spot where they went to TNN and Spike or whatever for like 2 years or something, but man, that has been a mainstay for like 30 years on USA Network. Like. Shows where the landscape now is, I guess.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I mean, this is just from like my personal background, but I'm very curious how that change is going to work from an interface level because Netflix, it doesn't have a particularly good interface right now.
No,
it used to have a much cleaner one, and now it's very messy.
Got a lot of stuff going on.
And Peacock has never been particularly good, but it's gotten a little bit easier to browse the WWE like holdings there. And like once you figure out how to get what you want, it's easy enough to search it and to like find those categories. I'm interested to see how this is organized on Netflix. Like if it's all going over.
Yeah. And plus I don't think Netflix has had a steady live component to it. They just announced a John Mulaney talk show that's going to be live coming up next year.
Yeah, because they did one as an experiment during some comedy festival in LA, and the show itself was not good, but it was like it did stream live.
They've been tiptoeing. They've had some problems with like a reality show reunion show they did. The Tyson fight happens this time. They're going to be doing that. They did some kind of golf outing with Formula guys, which makes sense since they do Drive to Survive on there. So
this
is going to be big.
They did the hot dog eating contest.
Hot dog eating contest, big time stuff. But like I think Raw's going to be a really big one for them, to see what that capacity is, and it may. I think we're further along than, the early days of WWE Network where we're trying to watch NXT Arrival and it's really kind of skippy.
Yeah.
It wasn't really working great. But, everything came around and like it's not often that we get that problem much anymore. So.
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea how it will change behind the scenes as far as how things are like filmed and how things are captured for streaming via Netflix. But I imagine that like they can make it work pretty well.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to do. I think they keep saying that like, oh, there's not going to be the commercial breaks the same way, but like also understand like Netflix has a commercial tier. So I think like much like when pay-per-views have changed PLEs on Peacock because now you have this weird gap where everybody else is getting tied commercials and you're getting a recap for the next match. Right, and they are formatting around that. There's bigger gaps between those matches on those pay-per-views than there used to be. Right, it's noticeable when you're in a crowd for sure.
Yeah,
but then you get I think you're gonna get Like you're going to get house ads, or we're going to get promos. It's not going to be a clean, like, there's no ads, let's go. You know, I can't imagine that's how they're doing. But
it's going to be like it's going to be like the, sorry, I didn't mean to, but it's going to be like the first hour, like when they did like the first hour is commercial free.
Yeah.
And there's a giant bucket of KFC chicken right in front of you.
There's going to be integrated ads. Oh, well,
yeah.
Integrated ads are going to be, because your eyeballs are going to probably go up.
They do that with the PLEs anyways. They have the banner splattered everywhere.
Absolutely. So you're going to see more of that integrated advertising, which is what it is. We see it in every other sports, you know. So
I just want to hear Michael Cole say fuck.
That is the future that I dream of.
Not Pat McAfee, because he says it every damn day, but I want to see Michael Cole say fuck.
I mean, do we think that's the implication? Is that like the product itself could become less family friendly because it's on Netflix?
I think they've announced that they intend to. Yeah, absolutely. Toddy Tundera is in the YouTube chat tonight. And
Toddy!
Cable is low-key back is just his under half names. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we're not that podcast, so I'm not going to get into that. But I hear a lot of those conversations about it. And even like a lot of these are included in your your bundles and stuff with cable. You get your Disney and stuff like that, right? Also, who's this Mr. McMahon guy they're talking about on Netflix? He seems bad.
Yeah, that's gonna be weird.
That was my reaction, because I was like, oh, interesting collision of.
He's not there anymore. I think my running theory right now is, other than like there was the theory that I think Busted Open or something said, there's the Matt Kemp Busted Open that I was listening to, and he was like, hey, they did this now to clear the slate. This is the past. We're going in the future with who's there now. I also think it was they shut it down. He left. They spun it back up because he left. Yeah. And we're like, well, we can't offend anybody now. Let's go. So we got a production we spent all this money on. Then we got over and we wrote out our contracts and have all our permissions to do whatever we want with it. So
it's just such a weird, like, preamble to the introduction of WWE on Netflix, because it's like, so hey, remember that company that was attached to that guy that you really don't like now because of all the horrible, heinous shit that he's responsible for? This is that company. Woo! Yeah, welcome.
Absolutely.
Watch us every week. Please.
Well, watch us every week. So here's all. Listen, here are all the skeletons, so we can just move past this. I just like to think about the future things.
It's not a bad strategy to be like, okay, well, we already talked about this.
We're like, listen, we have a past. Who doesn't have a past? Especially a company on this scale, right? So.
And here is the
future.
He
ain't here anymore. He's gone.
Here's the future on Netflix. Woo.
Yeah. See all those bad people in this? They're not around anymore. Triple H will save us all. Papa H will save us all. So, anyways, thank you to saving our stomachs every week here in the studio, for feeding us and our guests, our friends at Slice on Broadway, New York City style. Yinzer Made, Beachview, Carnegie, East End, I don't know, everywhere. They're everywhere, man. They're everywhere. I have a wrestler saying, hey, there's a Slice by me. I checked them out, and they're really digging them. So check them out, New York City, Yinzer Made. Call them. Make sure they put you on hold so that you hear that amazing theme song that they have for the whole music. Have you heard this, Rizz?
No.
There's a Slice on Broadway. Dude, you're excited.
They have a theme.
Oh my God, it's great. It's great. Wow. I wonder if they posted it on their social media or something. I laugh.
So I need to call them and be like, can you put me on hold for a moment?
Listen, call them like 5 o'clock when everybody else. Call.
I mean, it's like, can you put me on hold? I'm gonna do it online, but I just want to hear the music.
Yeah. Listen, just call them at 5 o'clock when everybody else is calling for pizza, and you'll get it. Okay. Yes. So if I'm like a few minutes late of when I usually call them, like, I'm gonna wait because they get busy real quick at the end of the day. So, anyways, thanks to our friend Slice on Broadway. Everybody, chat room, ladies and germs out there on the internets, what did you learn from wrestling this week?
I learned I need to invest in like tracksuits.
Yeah, apparently. We need some Mayhem Show tracksuits. You need some grit and glitter pack.
And some mango key lime cheesecake.
Oh my God. imagine the grit and glitter tracksuit that I could own. Like, this has to happen now.
It's got to actually have glitter on it, right?
And that's what will go on the butt. Grit and glitter.
Mm-hmm.
One sheet.
Like on the same one, or
no. One sheet gets the grit, one sheet gets the glitter.
That's it.
That's it. All right.
Thank you, Sharks. That's our.
Thank you, Shark. Yeah.
Yeah.
This will. Oh man, that's it. That's my new wrestling. I've solved what I wear to wrestling shows for forevermore.
Forever.
I'm getting a custom velour tracksuit for my podcast with glitter letters on it. No, it's gotta be velour. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe a breezier one for the spring and summer months.
Yeah, some of those places. So when Taco Mania is out in the sun.
And I also learned Andrew Palace is the nicest pinball player ever.
Yeah, you had an encounter with Andrew at the
Yes.
pinball, huh?
Yes. So during intermission, I'm like, I'm just gonna play pinball because
I didn't even get to look at the arcade games. I was so busy all day.
After my little walkies that I had, I went back in, and I had to. So I had to go do $10 worth of this because that was the minimum
Yeah.
for a card, which seemed excessive, but
Okay.
So I played about maybe two, three games, and of course there was a Weird Al pinball machine. So of course I'm going to play that. And then all of a sudden, Andrew Palace comes over. We start talking. He goes, yeah, after the show, I'm just going to play this the entire day, like, until it closes. I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah, that's amazing. Like, we just started talking back and forth. And after the show, I still had, like, this wad of tokens in my hand. And I'm like, here you go. And I just place it in Andrew Palace's hands. He's like, can I give you a hug? And I'm like, fucking yes.
Wait, Andrew Palace asked you for a hug? By the way, I just had to look at the Weird Al pinball machine video because I'm just kind of excited to just look at it.
It is.
I've never seen this
a
thing.
giant screen,
and
it
looks like it's got a hamster wheel in it.
It got Harvey hamster wheel.
Okay,
incredible.
Good stuff. Emily Fear, what did you learn from wrestling this week?
I learned that I'm not cool enough to get a hello from Rizz at a wrestling show.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel so bad.
We didn't talk about this, but yeah.
No.
I waved hello and I got
You
iced.
did wave hello.
I
did not see the hello.
Iced. So Andrew Palace gets a handful of tokens and I get nothing.
Rizz gave up all of his goodwill.
Is it because my hair isn't as good as his? Because I get it. He's got that like luxurious lion mane.
Oh, you mean Palace? Yeah. Yeah.
Your hair.
Rizz is like what? Rizz is like this
hair.
No. I mean, it is gorgeous. It's like very luxurious.
It works for you. It works for you in your head. It's all right.
It's the hair on your head.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean.
I will make it up to you next time.
You got a good Bruce Willis going.
And I will owe you a cheesecake.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh, yes.
Shit. Like maybe a chocolate caramelicious cheesecake made with Snickers. Or a lemon meringue cheesecake.
Ooh, lemon meringue cheesecake.
Sorg, what did you learn before I
was going to go to the chat room for what we learned. Tina Keys learned that it was indeed the final countdown and forget the cheesecake. All about the Southwest egg rolls?
Yes, Tina.
What?
Yes, Tina. Also, they had, I don't know if it's changed, but Cheesecake Factory had a really good vegetarian burger for a while. Like, not just like a garden burger or whatever.
I think Missy just had that, yeah.
They had one that had like beets in it and stuff. Really good.
God, I'm good.
Cheesecake Factory.
God, and we're gonna house the rest of this pizza after the show now. I'm getting so hungry.
I know, now I have to eat pizza just to like scratch the itch.
Yeah, seriously. Also, by the way, also nothing is forever. Zack Sabre Jr. is the new Japan Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. Beat Naito over the weekend, and Tanahashi is retiring in 2026.
Yes.
So enjoy the ace while you can. Frozen piece of cheesecake dipped in chocolate. What the?
Oh my gosh! So
yeah, that's
What?
yeah.
at Grove City Outlet Mall, for longest time, you could go to the Rocky Mountain Candy Company and get a chocolate dipped frozen piece of cheesecake on a stick.
Oh my gosh.
Oof.
And it ruled. It did. It was awful to eat because it was so hard to eat. But like, man, once you cracked into it, best thing ever.
From the chat room, Toddy was asking, what was? God, that's the Weird Al thing. What was your favorite match from Enjoy? Can't remember if we said
Mine.
Yes.
Oh, Kings of the District versus TNA.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
He might not have been on one.
Match of the night.
Awesome. Dave Bonner learned that reporters can't handle women's wrestling. I don't know this. Is this reaction to PWI maybe?
Is it because it was 250 and
Need
not
some
500?
context. Need some context for this.
Yeah.
one.
Dave, what's
Yes.
what's the skinny here?
Yeah,
man?
what's the lowdown on this one? I need some background on that one. So, what did I learn from wrestling this week? I learned.
God, now I'm looking at the entire menu and I'm hungry.
I learned cheesecake over wrestling apparently.
Like, so like next episode we're just like from location, the Cheesecake Factory.
Listen, like next week, Joe Dombrowski's on. He's just gonna start reading the KFC menu. So I think
Not
that's
nearly
just
as
gonna be-
tantalizing.
No. Maybe I can get him to talk about cheesecake. Who knows? So God, what did I learn from wrestling this week?
Did you learn that suffocating people with plastic bags is now a thing?
A thing. Apparently, I was you know what? I thought we were gonna get a "This is murder" chant. But it was so like Tina was in the audience talking about it. It deflated the entire audience, which is actually a funny term considering. You know,
Sorg, that's twice.
Yeah, you
That's
can't.
Twice.
You can't stop
That's
yourself.
2 times
no,
now, Sorg.
It's late. So no questions for Mariah. Oh God, they didn't. Nobody had questions for Mariah May at the press conference. What the fuck?
Not a single question.
Not a single question out of that press corps. Are you kidding me?
How? Oh, that's what you meant to. Oh man.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry, Dave. I didn't mean it.
Yeah. No, forgot about that.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, no, that. So some interesting change-ups because now they also have Nigel and Tony Schiavone presiding over that. I think because everybody kept asking Tony questions, like on questions. So.
Yeah, it was a really good idea to have like people who are more trained in these things to handle these things,
and not the people that you're going to poke with pressing questions about the business of AEW.
And is very pokeable because he
Yes.
takes the bait every single time.
Absolutely.
That like little cooked out weasel just can't help himself.
Now, we talked about last week,
No.
Triple H didn't do
They-
well with some
yeah,
responses
that-
after Bad Blood.
They're
Like,
both not good at talking.
Yeah.
They shouldn't do it.
No,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
shouldn't.
They like it's okay. You don't have to have all the strengths. You have money and power. Maybe you don't need to also have a like spotlight during these moments because you're
So-
bad at it though.
And it's interesting. So Tony's like the Vince, the buck stops here with this guy kind of thing, putting himself out there, was great for access and stuff. But you know, obviously that went to a certain place. Triple H is chief content officer, so he's about the content, the creative, the wrestlers, and now he is getting in a spot where they are poking him about some of the business aspects. Yes, he's involved, but he's not that guy.
He's not
you
the
know?
one making the like,
So he's okay, but he's getting put in these spots because they see him as the new Vince.
yeah.
But it's not true. Like Nick Khan is the new Vince in a certain, or they've said, listen, Vince, if you do a reverse Dragon Ball Z, where you've separated Vince and it became Triple H and Nick Khan. A reverse, what's the thing with the dance?
A reverse
the
fusion?
reverse fusion dance happened,
This is
hypothetically.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm
this is
listening.
one of the nerdiest conversations I've ever
No,
entered into.
How many times I've seen
I
a
get
fusion
this. Let's
dance
go.
in pro wrestling, or literally Joe Murphy had Goku socks when he sat in that spot a few weeks ago. Okay, so this is like completely on
Joe
brand.
Murphy has the Vegeta jacket.
He does have
The
Vegeta
badass
jacket.
Vegeta jacket.
Tony Khan was in prison for the media scrum. Yes. So yeah. Anyways.
That is so bizarre. Not a single question from Mariah May. Not any kind of like soft like
have you been seeing what Tony's been doing in Stardom? You know, like it's like not even a fucking fluff question, right? Yeah, like not even a story question.
Like, who do you think you're fighting next?
Yeah.
So what was her appearance at the press conference like then?
Awkward.
Just like
it would like showed up. They sat there going once, going twice. And then she's like, I'm really disappointed in all you and left or something. Like that was it. And I haven't seen any other clips from it. But yeah, that was it.
I would be disappointed.
That's a shame.
Bizarre.
Yeah, that was weird. That was really weird.
How?
Yeah. I'm struggling to figure out what I learned from wrestling this week. To be quite honest, I had a very stressful weekend. So, I learned that I enjoy wrestling. It was.
Hey, you said the thing.
I've been using it a lot in social media. If you haven't noticed, yeah. So we did do. Maybe I'll talk more on Patreon about this. So I just do real quick because we're actually at mostly what I wanted to check out for this time. But we did sponsor the IndyWrestling.us did officially sponsor some match on it's not some match, the Danhausen match on Enjoy Wrestling, and
just the match that was on the center of the poster.
And I did appreciate I learned that Enjoy runs a really good ship over there. I've had the opportunity to work with some pretty high profile companies. It was great to work with Rich Bocchini, I think I say it wrong all every time. So I was the guy for like 4 years. And because it's been a while, it's probably been about a year since I've worked with him at Warrior Wrestling. And catch up with them, and it just learn some things from people that that work in spaces that I don't get a chance to, and that's always good to see how other people kind of work and format their stuff. Much like working in different companies against different wrestlers, like helps you grow as a wrestler. Working around different crews helps you grow as a creative professional as well.
I can imagine that it's getting to do the things that you know how to do, but in a different context to do them.
Yeah, they're in different worlds, like Scotty does some really high level stuff. It's commercial stuff, TV stuff, some of the people on his crew does. And then we have me and Rob that do what we do on the indies. You know what I mean? Like we come from different vectors, and you mean the mail is like, oh, hey, you should do this. Hey, you should do this. I kind of talked about it a lot on Awesome Cast actually earlier tonight because there's a lot of technical behind it. But, Scotty's got the skill for the look. I know how to pull a show together. He knows how to make it look a very specific way, and it's just like, that was awesome. Live switching something like that, like I feel like it feels like I'm switching AEW. It looks so cool, and that was really cool to kind of be a part of something like that. And then I haven't been a part of something like that since, Ashe, we were doing really good stuff with, and I had a chance with Defy a couple of times. And that's when the stuff coming across my screen that, as a director, if you're working on certain shows with certain levels, like maybe they're just newer videographers or something like that, and you're just like, God, I got to look for something to make this work, versus you're giving me just options, and I get to paint the picture with what the videographers are bringing in, right? And it looks good and everything's framed, and I literally have a choice to just follow the action and figure out what's going to work. That is a really, really cool place to be. Once all the technical details are solved and everything like that. So, which sometimes you got to do in the middle of the show. So, which is always something that's live. We're allowed to tape. Thankfully, we're on pay-per-view, but yeah, no, it was very, very cool to work with that crew and work with. I love, much like working with the Enjoy crew and the wrestlers that are there are like working with Exodus, where I'm like, oh God, everybody finds the camera. Everybody knows where to be. Right. You're not just like, why is this person just has a back to all three cameras, and just like, at some show, like everybody knows what this is, knows it's a big deal, knows this is, TV, quote unquote, as far as presentation, and they're there for it. I don't know what they do backstage in the meeting to prep everybody for it, or they've been here enough times, or they're people that come. Sonny Kiss, obviously has been there and knows how to work this. So yeah, that's always. There's some intangible things I think I learned this weekend.
I meant to just shout him out before, but we had a new announcer for Enjoy for this show for the first
Yeah.
time ever.
From Indianapolis, I think.
Yeah, Jay Rose, who I'm familiar with from his work on a couple of different like notable ones. He does Naptown Pro out where he's at, and maybe he's done Black Label and maybe some GCW shows, especially during mini weekend when a lot of like, you know, a lot of that stuff gets mixed up. But I always really like his style. He has a really, really like infectious energy when he comes in there. A huge, big personality. Really fun to have like a brand new announcer in that way, and have loved the work of the other people that have been in that role. But it was just fun to see someone new and someone recognizable.
I'm always concerned. Wrong button. There we go. I'm always concerned when I get like I will consider him a non-typical announcer, right? Not the guy that stands in the middle of the ring and does the Gary Michael Capetta next matches, like a Sean Collier kind of thing. I consider in that line. I always get worried because sometimes they're just everywhere, and you don't know what's going on, right? He had the right energy. Is the best way I can put it, to keep the show going. Wasn't going off on this, that, and you know, it like I've had guys that walk around the ring and just like, you're literally running around the ring doing this announcement. I don't know what to do with you, you know? And he just had that right mix of not just the dude standing there. He was like hype man / announcer in the best way possible. And I loved it. That's awesome. Know, like I really dug that. And actually, I got to see a little bit of clip of how they start, like of some of the final cut of how, like I think that first, like, are you ready for wrestling moment? And I'm just like, okay, that's the vibe right there, right? So, and even the pre-announcements, I'm like, should I capture this? This is actually pretty good, you know. Usually it's just kind of flat. So, like he got people popping for the sponsors. Like, this is good, you know.
They
like
got,
I don't get this at all the shows.
They got the whole crowd for the rock paper scissors tournament.
That's
during
right.
the intermission.
That's right. And I think we shot that. I think Scotty went over and shot that too. Because I'm like, should I be doing something? God, my buttons. Sorry, I swapped my buttons tonight.
Just Weird Al.
Just keep blowing that Weird Al screen up. No, absolutely. And it was a lot of fun. And he was a really good choice there. And something different. And I like that. It's a different space. It's a different vibe. That's fine.
If you're going to experiment, you might as well really experiment and like throw in some new factors, see what works.
I like that. And not all of them are partners are on the network, but the other cool thing about Pittsburgh this week is between this past weekend and literally Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week, there are 4 wrestling shows within city limits. And not just within city limits. I'm talking like central city of Pittsburgh, south side, north side, and the Strip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's happening? So, well, I know 880, the Thursday night.
Saturday.
Yeah, and the Thursday night show is Thursday, but they have the Friday show on. Wait, no, when's February?
WrestleRex is Friday.
WrestleRex is Friday,
and then something's happening on the south side that won't get into on the show. But still, you have options. You know, trust me, it's not hard to find them.
Yeah, and 880 is February.
Yeah. So, but again, go check out WrestleRex. We have a lot of friends of the show that are involved in that. We filmed the first WrestleRex.
And they're at a new location. They're at City Winery.
Yeah, they're at a winery. So, man, if you want to get your booze on and watch wrestling in the city of Pittsburgh, you've had 4 options in 1 week in this city. Don't tell me wrestling is dead.
Get yourself some craft brews and enjoy. Get yourself some like fine wine and wrestling and like.
I really said
WrestleRex at City Winery is also one of those things where I'm like.
Where are we? What's going on?
What is happening right now? So, unfortunately, I really wanted to see what the vibe was like because I love the WrestleRex concept at the old Rex Theater Enclave, I guess it is now, or whatever. Unfortunately, I am going to be out of town, so I will be in Detroit area, in Taylor, Michigan. Hold on. I'm actually just learning a little bit of the details of this. I know I'm supposed to be there. I know I'm booked, and I want to be asking a lot of production questions tomorrow for setup. If you're in there, in the... Oh, God, I just saw who's on this show. Oh, no.
Wait. What's the show called?
The show is called Simply the Best with Clash Wrestling and Ricochet and Page involved with putting this show together. My favorites, the Koger brothers, are there.
Oh, no.
We'll see. I'm behind production, so don't worry. I will not get Atticus blood in my mouth this time. But Cruel is going to be there, and we know my history with Cruel in the Detroit area around hard cams. So
I saw Cruel's face there, and I'm like, oh no, Sorg.
Homicide, the wrestler, will be there. Crash Jackson will be there. He'll probably be at your show the next night in RWA.
Show, yeah.
Chris will be there. Can't remember which is the good one. I think it's Jake, right? is on this. But Jessica Havoc is on this, and PME, who we just saw at Enjoy, is going to be on this. Really good lineup as well. So,
yeah, excited to see PME on the Enjoy show this past weekend, and I hope that they bring them back because they were great.
Yep, always a good crew there.
Always fun to see them.
So that is going to be on IWTV, and of course we do have, like I said, RWA and 880 will be Saturday night, all on IndyWrestling.network and streaming platforms with YouTube, obviously, and then Thursday night fights. So that's my travel schedule for this week, and then Sunday I'm going to sleep. Just sleep.
Are you?
No, I'm probably not going to sleep.
I was going to say,
I'll probably be fixing the shows from the night, finalizing the shows from the night before or something. So. Emily Fear is at the Grit and Glitter podcast.
That is correct. Yep. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram. And we have a Patreon if you want. Harley does a fantastic show every month with his new co-host for this, Meg James. For our Patreon subscribers, we do a history of women in the WWE, tracing from the very very beginning. It is exhaustively researched, lovingly, exhaustingly researched by Harley, and it's they are somewhere in the early 90s right now.
Okay.
Still, I'm not exactly sure where they're at. I forget where they left off, but it's an interesting time for women's wrestling, or lack thereof, in the WWE. But there's definitely still people. There's people that there's stuff to look forward to.
I was always even as a younger wrestling fan, I had a tape called WWE's Most Unusual Matches, and they put a women's tag team match on that tape, and I'm like, what?
Was it just like a tag match?
It was just Jumping Bomb Angels against whoever the other women's tag team was.
It was Glamour Girls.
Glamour Girls, probably?
Yeah. It was always Glamour Girls.
I have to look that up.
Yeah, those matches, the few that there are, but those matches are incredible. We actually have we did a whole episode specifically about the Jumping Bomb Angels in WWE during that time, and it's a fascinating story actually. But those matches are well worth people's attention, and people do not know enough about it. But yeah, so this that's on our Patreon, that special women's wrestling entertainment history. Also, we just have the weekly pod every Tuesday, Grit and Glitter. We did the TNA draft this week, so if you want, this is very important actually, go on our Twitter and vote for my draft picks, because I've won every draft aside from the first one, so I want to win again. Vote for mine. You don't have to even like mine, just vote for me. Or else.
But I didn't wave at you.
You didn't wave at me, so you better vote for me.
So I might not.
Rizz is at Rizz Plays Games.
I'm at Rizz Plays Games. I am also going to be back. Hopefully, knock on wood, nothing else happens. On D in Denial this Thursday. We're doing a little bit of a role-playing game called Pearl of Hope. Come see us.
There you go.
It's fun.
Where can people find that?
On twitch.tv/D in Denial. D, the letter D, the letter N, Denial.
DND and Nile.
Enile. Yes.
Yes. Got it.
And I will be at RWA this Saturday. Still, we still need to figure out where Matt is.
Yeah. He made a cameo on the show.
He's still running somewhere.
Thank you, everybody. This has been your Wrestling Mayhem Show. Please follow us everywhere. Please follow us on Patreon if you do enjoy what we're doing here, so we can help us grow the show if you were so inclined. Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned for Patreon, and we'll see you guys next week. Mayhem out.
Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.